It's something that nobody notices, that everybody stresses about. It's so weird. Hey bridal beauties, welcome back to my channel. For those of you who are new here, I'm Kyle James and I used to be a wedding planner, and now I stay at home with my 18-month-old son and make awesome wedding planning content to help you plan the wedding of your dreams. In today's video, we're talking about 12 things that your guests do not care about. The wedding planning process is extremely expensive and extremely time-consuming. So it's important to eliminate things that are not going to even be noticed. Let's save you some time and money. So a lot of these things, I'm not saying that you should eliminate completely. Maybe some of them, especially if they're things that you don't want to do in the first place. But it's just important that you realize that there's a lot of things that we make seem way more important and we put way too much time, way too much money in, that aren't actually that big of a deal. So my first thing that your guests really don't care about is signs. So signs can tie together your whole look. It's just not something that you want to slave over. So if you are wanting to do a special welcome sign or something like that, you can totally put your time and money and effort into that. But don't spend hours and hours and hours killing yourself over trying to get all your signs done the week before your wedding, because honestly, people aren't going to notice. I'm so guilty of this. I make signs for everything and I always go way overboard and I'm like, oh gosh, that sign ended up in the corner and nobody even noticed it. I think that signs, like I said, can be cute and they can tie together your theme, but try to simplify as much as possible with this and maybe just put extra effort into one or two of the extra important ones. My next thing that your guests really don't care about and probably won't notice if you put extra time and money into is your stationery. This includes your save the dates, your invitations, programs, menus, all of it. Anything that's paper, they aren't really going to care. And if they do care and they judge you for what you have, then you don't want to be friends with them anyway. So you obviously want invitations and save the dates, and stuff like this is awesome and people like looking at it and obviously they need the information, but it's not a place that you're really going to want to spend tons and tons of extra money, because they're not going to notice the extra money spent or the extra time spent here. I know there's lots of girls who want to do DIY invitations and it ends up taking so much time and effort to design something and cutting and gluing and all this stuff, and there's amazing websites now that have millions of different invitations and save the dates and everything that you can pick from, that it takes so much less time and money and energy. Just do that. Also, wedding programs and stuff, those end up all getting thrown away. Most people don't even look at them. If you really want something, I recommend making a little program sign, but honestly, people aren't really going to notice if you have one or not. So I would not recommend spending time and money here either. And then menus, you don't really need to do as well. Those are kind of a waste. If you want a cute little touch, you can do it. Just don't spend too much time and effort here. My next one might be kind of controversial and you might not agree with me, but that's totally fine. You don't have to. But my next one is open bar. I think that if you do beer and wine only, or if you do beer and wine plus specialty cocktails, that is plenty of booze for a wedding. I like doing this better because you don't want everyone to be completely trashed. If you do just beer and wine, it's going to still be a lot of fun. Everyone is drinking and having fun and celebrating, but they are not getting super trashed to where it can ruin your big day or make a scene. So A, they won't notice if you cut out that liquor, and that will save you tons of money. And it will save them embarrassment, so they should thank you. The next thing that your guests really don't care about is upgraded dinnerware, flatware, and drinkware. Obviously, you need these things if you're serving food and drinks, but a lot of times you'll go into the rental place and they'll have the setting all set up with the ones that's the plates are a couple dollars extra, the silverware is a couple dollars extra, The glasses are a couple dollars extra. Just get the plain plates, get the plain glasses, and get the plain silverware. Instead of spending that money on upgrading your plates and all that stuff, I would add chargers. If you have the extra budget, add chargers for under the plate. That's gonna give you a much bigger bang for your buck than the upgraded plates and everything. If you really do want an amazing tablescape, do it only on the head table, because that's where people will notice it anyway, and that's where all your photos are gonna be. So if you do have some budget to spend, then just upgrade everything for your head table and then just do the regular stuff for the other guest tables. The next thing that your guests don't care about is your linens. I say this specifically about tablecloths. Don't upgrade your tablecloths. It's a waste of money. Just use the white ones, especially if your venue already has them. Then just use what they have. It's not worth it to put in the time and money to upgrade these. Nobody is gonna notice. Napkins are kind of the same. If you do still need to add like a pop of color to your table, then you can add the colored napkins. But if it's not in your budget, then don't worry about it. Nobody's gonna notice. The next thing is something that I personally have wasted so much time on, and I've seen so many brides waste so much time and energy on. Especially, it's like something that always ends up needing to be done right before the wedding, and you end up spending just so much time on it, and it's so stupid. This is wedding favors. I, as a wedding planner, clean up after the wedding, and I see usually at least half of the wedding favors left behind. People don't even take them. And then if they do take them, they usually will end up throwing them away. There might be a few people who really keep them for like keepsakes, like maybe your parents or your grandparents or something. If you do want to have something special, maybe for your parents and grandparents, then spend the money there, get like an engraved picture frame, or get them like a special favor or something that they can remember your day by. But don't waste your time and money on personalized favors. You can definitely still have favors. My favorite favor, and the favor that I see get taken every time and it is always the biggest hit, is like food or candy. Like a little snack for the road, like Happy Trails, and it's like trail mix or something cute like that, is something that will get used because people will want a snack by the end of the night, and something that will get taken. The next piece is another thing that I personally have spent way too much time on for my brides, and that is escort cards. Handmade escort cards are going to take a long time. There's so many cute ideas that we see on like Pinterest and Instagram and stuff like that. We're like, oh, that's a great idea. And then like 2 days before your wedding, you're like trying to get them all done, like sweating. This is something that, it's a cute touch. It totally is a cute touch, and I get it because I do it all the time. I'm making escort cards right now for one of my parties. So I'm totally guilty of spending too much time on this, but your guests aren't gonna notice if you just like print escort cards on a regular paper. I think that a escort sign where you like list your tables out and stuff like that, and you have that at cocktail hour, will get more attention, and it's maybe a little bit more worth it to put energy and time into that than the actual escort cards themselves. Another thing that I see all the time is you make these amazing, beautiful escort cards and then they all blow away. So if you are gonna put effort and time into your escort cards, make sure that you either attach something to them or that they are something that is not gonna blow away. Because there's nothing worse than spending so much time and energy on escort cards and then they just like all blow across the field. Don't do that. My next one might also be a little bit controversial, but I firmly stand by it, and it's been proven time and time again to me, and that is hiring a DJ over a band. A lot of people's budgets won't even work for a band, and they stress about that, and you feel like you need to have a band, but the DJ, in my experience, has been a much better way to go. I'm going to do an entire video on how to hire your band and DJ and how to decide, but basically a DJ is just way easier to work with, they're way cheaper, and your guests aren't gonna notice that you don't have a band. The next thing that your guests really don't care about and probably won't even see is your shoes. I see brides spend so much money on their shoes and then you're not even gonna wear them. Or you try to wear them because you spent so much money on them and you're uncomfortable the whole night. Your dress usually is gonna cover your shoes. number one. Number two, you need something that you can wear the whole night. You need something that you can walk down the island, especially if you're getting married outside and you're walking through grass. You do not want stilettos that sink in the grass, because then your guests will notice your shoes, because they'll notice how ridiculous you look trying to get down the aisle in them. Sometimes you do get a cute photo with your shoes, but that's not something you're ever gonna look back on, let's be real. So if you don't have budget and it's not important to you, don't waste your time and money on shoes. And if you are gonna spend money on shoes, get like some really nice nude ones, like a nude pair of Christian Louboutins would be amazing, because then you can actually use them in your real life and it won't matter that nobody noticed them on your big day. The next thing that your guests really don't care about is your wedding cake. Oh my gosh, there's always so much cake left over after weddings. I'm like trying to force the catering staff to take it home with them, trying to force guests to take it home with them, like, please, we've spent so much money on this cake, will you please take it with you? Nobody eats the cake. If you do a fun dessert like a donut wall or something, that tends to get more attention and people will actually go eat it. But if you're stressing about getting a really nice wedding cake, don't do it. I highly recommend just getting a small cake. You could even just get like a plain white one from somewhere super cheap, and then have your florist add flowers to it so that you can use that for cake cutting, so that you can still do that. Honestly, nobody cares about the cake cutting really either. It's just fun for pictures, maybe a fun memory for you and your fiance, unless they shove it in your face and you don't want them to. You might want to eliminate the cake altogether. Let's be real. Let's just save ourselves the problems now. No, but like, if you really want the pictures and stuff, just get a small cake, add your flowers to it, and then do something else for dessert. The next thing that, it's kind of annoying that guests don't care about this, but they don't, is your guest book. There's so many times when I'm like asking people to go sign the guest book and nobody will sign the guest book. You can have it at your cocktail hour and this helps, but usually guests aren't really that into it. You might want to just get something super simple so that people can sign it if they want to, but don't stress over this and don't put too much time and money into it. My last thing that guests really don't care about is a fancy exit. As people try to put so much effort into this, and it can be kind of cool for pictures, but something you don't think about is you don't want to pay your photographer to stay there all night, especially if you have a very specific allotted time with them. I think the getting ready photos are way more important than the exit photos. Maybe just have like a really fun last song to dance to. That'll be a better memory. All right, there you have it. There's my 12 things that I think brides spend way too much time stressing over and way too much money on. So pick what's important to you and put effort into those, but don't spread yourself super thin or spend way more money than you need to on things that people aren't gonna even care about or notice. I hope this video was helpful. If so, please give it a big thumbs up. Please share it with your bride friends and be sure that you're subscribed so that you don't miss any of my upcoming wedding planning content. We'll see you next time. Happy planning!